big booklet, photocopied, that's what's been out on the website. That's the latest version, it's February 2020. Just so you'll know, I spent some hours on this, cleaned up a lot of the charts, the graphs, made sure that the index was correct, the table of contents matched exactly what was there, the names actually matched basically I added this entire document so that it was something we could be proud of. Not that it wasn't before, but I'm just in that editing mode, I guess. Overall, I think there's a couple areas. Ron and I talked about one area that you would like to see some more added to it. I think we still need to look at that hierarchical chart and maybe one other area. Then this would be ready to go. So this would be the plan as opposed to the future land use map, which Dan is going to address. So,
Jack, really quick. So one of the things that I think we need to make sure we go back through and edit are suggested things that have already happened.
okay.
So for example, hiring you. Like there's in here hiring this assistant. That's already now a position in the township. It doesn't need to be part of the comprehensive
Yes, you
plan.
should be out of there.
So that should be taken out. I think there's a section that calls out for the hiring of a fire chief. We've already done that. So anything that we've already accomplished, I
Okay.
think we need to make sure that we're editing that out.
I'd like to see how they're about us buying fire trucks.
Yeah, I would.
Say that again, Ron, please.
Take it out about us buying fire trucks.
Okay.
You know, we discussed this before with the guy that did the plan.
John Trent.
Yeah, and he was supposed to get back to us. There were several things. And never heard anything back again.
My last conversation was because I had given him so many edits, so many things to clean up. There's several references in here to a type of foliage that's basically in southwestern Pennsylvania. I said, well, why don't we just name it? And then they said, well, we inherited this. I said, but, okay. So then I pushed a little bit further for some of the other basic stuff, and then at some point he cut it off and said, look, I'm going to start charging you at this amount, this rate, for any more corrections. I pretty much had the corrections done. What you had mentioned before, what everybody had said before. So I picked it up from there. Dawn and I talked about getting this turned into a possible Word document. There's some type of proprietary coding on this type of word processing that I can't just scan it in and turn it into a document. I'd have to go to someplace like an Office Max or something.
What is it, a PDF?
It's not really a PDF though. That's the problem. I mean, it's saved in PDF, but yeah, you go to change it and all of a sudden your charts and everything just, I can't get them through. I'd have to retype so many of those sections.
Okay,
So,
I'll look at it too, see if I can.
yeah, you can, I mean, it's on the web. You can download it. If you can turn it into
An editable.
well, it would be nice if it was a Word file, but we've got
Give
these.
her a copy of
But
it.
here's the thing too, though,
She's
Jeff,
gonna help
we
us.
paid him to produce a finished document.
Yeah, right.
And he hasn't done it, so like, if we need Gretchen or somebody to write a letter that says you haven't fulfilled the terms of the contract, because I appreciate you going through, and I think the whole board does, like, the whole point was for us to get a finished product for him that we didn't get.
So the corrections, it should be included. I mean, if we're adding anything, that's another story. I guess at some point he has the right to say, hey, I haven't fulfilled my contract on the work. Correction, that should have been.
Right, in fact, I would go back to him and say, how many of our hours you spent editing it, he owes us a portion of the money back.
You know, keep that.
Well, like, I'm just saying, like, you can't, like, he can make changes, or he can pay us back for what he didn't.
Here's my suggestion. Why don't we get all the board's feedback, and Jack and I, since I brought Mr. Trent into the equation, I'll be glad to facilitate the meeting and make sure that he's prepared and is waiting to kind of talk things up anyway, at least in the conversations I've had with him. So whatever we can do to facilitate that will. So I would just say, the major thing is we need the board's input on items within the plan tonight, and we again, the logistics of getting it fixed and whatever else, we'll get it done.
And you're saying, because I haven't looked through the new plan, but like anything that we had asked to have changed at the last meeting has been updated and changed?
It hasn't been because I can't correct this. I can't just go in and change it. It would be something that I would have to turn this into an editable document that I have not
So
done.
do we have a list somewhere of everything that the board has asked to have changed? For example, like, I think a majority of the board said, we don't want the whole paying for fire trucks thing in there.
Right.
We don't want things that have already taken place in there. Do we have some sort of like Excel file or PDF Word document that lists all the suggested changes so that we can see it before those changes were made? Or we can make sure that what the final product is incorporates it?
Okay,
Do you have the list of changes somewhere?
I have a list of all the changes that have been made and suggested to be made. From our last meeting, our last conversation, basically it was change the hierarchical chart and add more verbiage on oil and gas. That was what we walked away with last time.
That was one of my concerns. That's one of the biggest problems is the oil, gas, and it seems like it wasn't even really addressed.
From what I understand, it wasn't, right? I mean,
No, it's in the plan.
No, there's just a small section.
There's a small section, I mean, it's a goal.
Right, but
what's the,
what
like,
was
what
taken out?
page is it on?
There is some language taken out.
What's the page?
It's
I
on
think
page
it was
50,
42.
it's on page 51.
Does anybody have an extra copy of that by chance?
Yes.
42 addresses one.
Jackie?
I'm sorry?
42 addresses one topic.
50, page 51, strategy 2C says oil and gas development continues to be an important issue for Cecil Township. The township should review its zoning ordinance with an eye towards its regulations related to oil and gas development and develop a process for effectively updating its guidelines. The township should evaluate low-density residential areas to accommodate oil and gas in a way that reasonably serves the use and protects existing family residential areas. Low-density residential areas are a strong option because the impacts can be better mitigated through large lots, greater setbacks, and more robust buffering. And what I recall was there was a lot of debate between the steering committee on that. And they kind of guided that language going back and forth. That's at least what I recall. There was a lot of discussion.
I mean, it still ends up a little bit vague, obviously, though, but the point that we need to revise the ordinance is the main point there. I think the rest is general guidance, but no one was in disagreement with the fact that it needs, large lots, greater setbacks, and more robust buffering between. But I think that the details have to come out in some sort of
In the ordinance
revision
itself.
to the ordinance, right?
Right, this is okay.
I'm not upset about this language, I agree with it, I just don't know that it specifically like helps. I mean, it's still gonna force us to go through the process of a oil and gas update, or an
Right.
update to our oil and gas.
But that's the purpose of
This
this.
is a 10-year plan. You work
Yeah.
through these goals over 10, that the idea is 10 years, and you take on and try to knock things off.
Yeah, this language would never be picked up and planted in an actual ordinance. This is just guide to writing the ordinance.
Right.
Well, I think if Kara thinks she can help, I mean, Kara, would it help if you had a copy of this? Or do you need to know what he?
Oh, I have a copy. This,
All right, okay.
I mean, I'm on the I printed the April 2019 version, but I don't know how much different, not vastly different.
It was just another round of corrections that I sent to him.
Yeah,
But you implied you may be able to do something to help him to get it in.
yeah, so I would be,
We'll take care of it.
okay.
I mean, that's,
All right.
I think of John Trent.
You're saying John will get you a copy of
I think
it?
if we leave it here, that's the way the board, comprehensive plan board submitted it and completed it, and I think we should respect that as the board's recommendation. Same thing with the fire truck, You don't bring that up in the 11th hour. And
No,
who's gonna
that's
pay
been
for it?
brought
Who's gonna
up.
pay for the fire truck? How are they gonna get paid for it?
That's been brought up several times there, you know it.
Who's gonna pay for it? We're gonna not put it in the plan. This is a target, so it's a target, something we shoot
Who's
for.
paying for them now?
So what, our money there too, are they $180,000 a year, or they stash that money and they
Exactly, yeah.
So you're saying you don't want to give them that money anymore?
I didn't say that. That's, we're not buying fire trucks. They want us to go out and buy fire trucks. And we're not in the fire business.
It's part of the health, safety, and welfare of our residents.
That's why we give them the money.
But just as a suggestion, and again, this isn't my meeting to chair, does it make sense to, at least on the goals, to go through the goals and see if we get any input from the board on each one of the goals?
Yes, we can do that. The only other thing that I think needs to be addressed that wasn't was stormwater management. We have a significant problem with how
It's
the
in there.
township. I know it's in here, but it needs to be called out. The extreme need of developing a more intense, I guess you would say, plan.
Okay, I was the one that actually John asked me to author that part of it. I thought I covered all facets of it.
Which
so-
Read 17.
strategy is it, do we know?
17.
And I mean, we have had, since this has been done, there's been more issues with stormwater, no doubt.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
I would think it would be in section 4, but I don't see it there.
Yeah, 17 covers, it starts talking about utilities and the permits and the stormwater rating control, but I'm sure it talks all about that, and tells you what the township's doing, but I thought there was something in the goals related to it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I would think it would be in section 4, but I don't. When you say 17, what are you referring to?
That's just the
What
description of.
page?
What page?
Originally 17, but I'm looking at the goals right now. That would be stormwater.
I don't know that we had it all on stormwater, but that's, we could add something related to that. Discussed it, but what's going on today, but we can give a future goal.
17.
17, right, is kind of like a current state definition.
Correct.
That's what I mean, that's not a future plan.
So we would need to put something in section, I would think section 4, strategy, category 4 under section 5. Strategies to get
I
there.
thought I saw it. On page, you go to page 35 and then flip the page, it's not marked, page 36 in the left-hand corner. Yeah, it says looking forward, the township will need to continue to focus on stormwater issues, including maintaining existing systems, monitoring maintenance of systems installed in developments, installing new systems where necessary, continue compliance with them as forward, complete pollution reduction plans, hiring additional personnel or subcontract to consultants to assist in items 1 through 5, possible sources of funding. So it's in there. It could, if you want it to be a specific goal, we can,
It needs to be a
we'll
specific.
Put it under goal 4.
Okay.
Right, because it's called out, I mean, it's construct and manage supporting infrastructure. And this is detailed in this summary, but we just need a specific one, I would think, under 4, like, make it A, B, whatever, if that's what we're working from.
Okay.
Well, the comprehensive plan put it together this way, and I think we should yield to that, the expertise of the comprehensive plan, not just
We
listen to one or two from the audience.
I was just suggesting, Eric, adding more detail.
Yeah, but then bring back the whole comprehensive plan, the board or the
That's
committee.
But Eric, let me just say that, you know, I think there's a great, the committee put together a great document for you guys to review, but it's been 2 years. We've had significant issues related to stormwater even in those 2 years that it's moved up the envelope to a point where you would want it to be a goal. If, I'm at least aware as a lot of the township still doesn't have adequate storm sewers. Even the old towns, Hill Station, Muse, I mean, there's a lot of places where we don't have storm sewers and we need them. So I'd say it's not a bad goal. And then what you can do is if it's a goal that's in your comprehensive plan, you can use that to apply for grants. It's helpful to make reference to those sections. So I think we can put a simple goal in to cover the issue and reference back to the description that's